Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. I know it's been a while, but I am finally back at it, and I have heard your guys' suggestions. I've heard a lot of you say you want to see a Spigot/Bucket server up on the AWS cloud, so that is what we are going to do today. First things first, if you have not already seen my other videos, none of this is really going to make sense and not really going to work without those. You're going to need an AWS server in order to be able to put the Bucket/Spigot server on this. That being said, I would highly recommend going and watching those other videos before clicking away. It does allow you to build a server regardless of the specs on your computer, and it also allows you to build a server that any of your friends can join from anywhere. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and open our browser and get started. So first thing we are going to want to do in our browser is go ahead and head over to this link. It is going to be in the description, the spigotmc.org link. This is going to take you to the download spot for the Spigot server file, and specifically we want to download it for Linux. The reason for that is because the AWS server that we created in the last video is Linux. So even if you are on Windows or Mac right now, you are going to want to download this for Linux. So first thing we're going to want to do is just click on this link, download build tool jar from. So go ahead and click on that. Should automatically download, put it right into your downloads folder. Once that has downloaded, we are now going to need to SCP that to our server, our AWS server. If you're a little iffy on what SCP means, I have another video, check it out, it's great, but for now I'll walk you through how to do it. So let's hop over to our terminal, and if you are on Windows, your command prompt should work just fine. So first thing we are going to want to do is cd into the directory that we downloaded that file to. So I'm going to cd into my downloads, whoops, and we should see it right here. Now remember, you are also going to need your PEM file in order to SSH or SCP in. And then finally, you're going to want to go to your AWS server dashboard and just check out what your public DNS address is. So I'm going to do that real quick. Now that you've got that, let's go ahead and start the SCP command process. So if you're on Linux or Mac, I just do sudo beforehand. If you're on Windows and you're in the command line or the command prompt, don't worry about it. This is not necessary. In fact, don't do it on Windows. It won't work. So after you do sudo, you're going to want to do scp. This is for transferring files. -i. This is so that we can put our key file here to give us authentication into our server. Now we want to put the file that we're transferring, which is going to be buildtools.jar. That's what we saw on the Spigot website, what we downloaded from there. And then finally, you're going to want your EC2 user. This is just the user that the AWS server recognizes you as, and then an @ symbol with the public DNS address. On the end of that, you're also going to want to put a directory to put this. I would recommend putting it into the home EC2 user directory. It'll be easy to find if you do that. Go ahead and hit enter, and it is going to transfer. Now, it's a pretty quick transfer because it's a pretty small file. If you want to see that it has been uploaded, you can just do an SSH, and again, if you're on Windows, don't put sudo beforehand, and you can SSH into your AWS server. Now, if I were to hit ls, you can see that buildtools.jar is there. So that means it's successfully uploaded. Now, there's another step we need to do, which is in order to get the server all set up so that we can start running our Spigot or Bucket server. So first thing we want to do is actually put this into a directory. So I'm going to do make directory, and I'm just going to call this Spigot server. You guys can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. So when I hit that and I hit ls, which is to list everything in my directory, you can see there's a new folder called Spigot server. Next, I'm going to move my build tools into the Spigot server. So if I do cd, change directory into Spigot server, you can see that build tools is there. So don't exit out of your connection just yet. We're going to need to hop back over to the website to grab a command from there that we need to run here in order to get things working. Okay, now that we're back on the site, this is a pretty easy thing to do. Go ahead and scroll down, and you can see you can actually install which version you want. So if you're wanting 1.17.1, you can use this version right here. Either one. You can also go to latest, and that'll just get the latest Minecraft version for you, or the latest version of Spigot that's available. I'm going to do 1.16.5, so we're going to go ahead and copy that and head back over into here, and then you're just going to want to paste that in the same directory that your buildtools.jar file is in. Now, this may take a while, but go ahead and hit enter. Okay, if you run into this error, not a big deal. You're just going to need to install Git. We have not installed Git on our AWS servers in the past, so you will probably run into this. No problem, I'll show you the command for that. Okay, so it should be a pretty simple command. I'm just going to paste it in here and then explain it. Basically, sudo gives you those admin rights again. Now, even if you are in the command prompt, because you have SSH'd into your server, you are now on Linux. So sudo is important here if you're using Windows. And then you're going to want to do yum, install, and git. This is just installing that library so that you can use it. So go ahead and hit enter. And then when you get to this point, hit Y for yes, and it's going to go ahead and finish. So now that we have Git, you should be able to just go ahead and cycle up using the up arrow key. If not, just copy and paste this command, and you should be able to run it to run the build tools. This command could take a while, so go ahead and pause the video and wait for it to finish. Okay, so it looks like it has successfully completed. That is a great sign. Another way to double check that is to now ls, and you're going to see there's a whole bunch more stuff in here, which is fantastic. So now that we have all of this in here, you can actually see that we have our Spigot server file. This is fantastic because this is all we need to get a server started. So what I like to do is I like to put it in an even deeper directory just called server, and then I'm just going to move that Spigot server into server. You don't have to do that, not a necessary step. It's just when we start actually messing with stuff, it's going to build even more stuff, and it just helps keep things clean. So now I'm going to cd into server, and you're going to see that there it is. So now we need to actually run the server, and this is pretty simple. It's just the actual same command we used in the last videos. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. This pasted in here, basically I pasted it in, and then I just changed the name to the server file name, and then here you can choose how much RAM you want. And actually this is a longer way to do it. If you put G in front of that, you can do gigs, and I'm just going to put 4 gigs into this. So if we say 4 gigs on each of those, now remember, you have to know how many gigs your AWS server has. So if you only have 2, only put 2 in here, otherwise it's not going to work. I think I have 8 on this one, but I'm just going to run 4 just to play it safe. So once you've got all of that in here, go ahead and hit enter to run it. And then it is going to error out just like our last server. It's going to say something about agreeing to the EULA text. So if you hit ls, you're going to notice there's a whole bunch of new stuff here. Go ahead and, last time we used Vim, go ahead and do that again. And then open your EULA text. Jump down here by using your arrow keys, and then move over and hit I, if you remember correctly, and then you can do backspace all the way back to the equals, then hit true. Then you're going to hit escape, :WQ, and enter. Once you've done that, you can run the server again. Now, while that's running, you might want to go and grab your public IP address from your AWS EC2 dashboard. So I'm going to hop over there and grab that, and then we can boot up Minecraft to test it out. Okay, now the great thing about the Spigot server is that you don't have to install anything client-side. So you can actually just boot up a normal installation of Minecraft. I'm booting up just regular 1.16.5, not modded. And if I hop into multiplayer, we're just going to create a new server. I've got this one, and I'm just going to edit it and put in my IP address, then hit done and refresh. Now you should see that your server pops up. So go ahead and join it. And you can see down here that player down cuckoo has joined the game. Oops. So if we pull that back up here, now you'll see that I am in the game and it is working. So this is on the AWS server. Now you'll notice, and I said this in my last tutorial, but you couldn't really see it because my face was in the way, but if I try and do game mode creative, nothing works. So if you hop back over to your terminal, you can actually just say op down cuckoo. Now if we go back into Minecraft, you're actually going to see a little command down there that says server made you a server operator. If I do game mode creative, I can now use commands. Now that we have done that, I'm actually going to show you how to install a mod onto here. So if you want to be able to have world edit, for example, that's the example I'll use in this tutorial. I'll show you how to do that. So go ahead and do stop to stop your server, and then we're going to actually hop back over to our browser, and I'll put another link in the description where you need to head to install World Edit. Now that we've clicked on the link for World Edit, we are here. This is the download page. The reason I said I want to do 1.16.5 is because this is in beta, and this is a more stable release. So I figured that I would just do the stable one just so that we could not run into any complications. So I'm going to go ahead and download it here. And we do want to save the file. Probably won't see that if you're using any other browser. And now we just kind of have to go through the same thing. We have to SCP this up to our server. So I am going to leave this terminal open. Actually, you don't have to do this. This is just what I'm going to do. And if we look in downloads, you'll see there is that world edit. So we're going to do the same thing here, just sudo scp-i minecraft, the key file, and then we want the file we're going to transfer, ec2 user. I'm going to paste it, and we want to put it in our directory. Now, if you remember what directory you're in, you can go all the way, so you don't have to move it. So if we say, I believe it was Spigot server and then server, let's see where we actually are. We want plugins. So then you want to put it in your plugins directory or your plugins folder, which is in the server directory that we created earlier. Now you should be able to hit enter there, again for the sudo password, but then it should start the transfer. So now theoretically, if I hop back into here and hit ls and I cd into plugins, there it is. There is the plugin for World Edit. Now that's it. If I cd back out of here and I run my server command, I could literally just boot up Minecraft and I'm going to see that it is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and boot up Minecraft. Okay, then I'm going to hop into multiplayer, go back to that server that we created earlier. I'll have to wait for it to actually finish. Go ahead and join. And, oh, that was weird. Wait for that to load in. Now, once that loads in, for those of you who use World Edit, you're going to need a wooden axe. But as soon as you grab a wooden axe, I can show you an example here. If we just, whoops, do that and that, we can actually set, oh, I don't know, let's be weird, lava. Look at that. World Edit is working, and I didn't install anything locally, so your local Minecraft doesn't have to do anything, and the server is working with World Edit. So that is how you create a Spigot server with plugins. And anyone can connect to this. This is not just on my local network. If you send that IP out, any of your friends can connect as well. Thanks again for watching, guys. You guys have been a huge support on my last videos, and it's been really cool to see. I love all your guys' questions. I love all your feedback. I love all your comments. It's been really helpful, really encouraging. I'm hoping to make videos a lot more frequently than I have last time. I know it's been a while. Life's gotten busy, but I'm back at it, and I hope to see you guys again soon.